Here's to strong women.
May we know them.
May we be them.
May we be inspired.
I'm Gurinder Singh, a former board member of the South Asian Bar Association of New York, SABANY. And I've teamed up with SABANY VP of Public Relations, Vidya Papajan, for this mini video podcast series in which we highlight and celebrate achievements of several South Asian women lawyers during the month of March. In continuing our series, today we feature an exclusive one-on-one interview with Anisha Dasgupta, Deputy Solicitor General at the Office of the New York State Attorney General. Anisha represents the state of New York before federal and state appellate courts, and she counsels the Attorney General on trial litigation and legislation. Anisha is a powerhouse litigator who has argued before 8 federal circuit courts and the New York Court of Appeals, and she regularly briefs cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. Anisha speaks to us about her unique path that has led her to her current position, the role mentorship has played in her career, and general advice for South Asian women lawyers, including the importance of recognizing our strengths and how to deal with setbacks. Anisha was interviewed by SABANY VP of Women's Initiatives and Gender Equity, Megha Jain. Megha is an associate manager in employee relations at the Walt Disney Company, where she advises managers and supervisors regarding personnel practices, policy, and employment laws. And here are some highlights of that interview.
For people kind of listening, and myself included, just kind of what brought you to kind of where you are? How has mentorship kind of played a role in where you've gotten so far?
It's been key. And I think mentorship is it's so important because mentors are the people who take the time to teach you, to guide the way for you, to help you. The tricky thing about mentors, though, is they're not just waiting around, right? Everybody wants them and needs them, but they can be really hard to find. And that's, I think, especially true for those of us who often find ourselves in settings where the norms and the practices are unfamiliar, and where the people who are around you might not immediately see themselves in you, right? That's the challenge that a lot of us confront when we're trying to find mentors. I think for me, what's worked is to look out for people whose passions and interests I share, and just to try and connect with them on that basis, and to try to show them how I can contribute to a common project. And so I've just been, I guess ever since I went to law school, I've just been somebody who really liked to nerd out about the law. Yeah. And I really enjoy thinking about the law and all the complexities and the nuances. And so I've just looked for people who kind of share those enthusiasms. And that's been a basis for us to click.
Are you kind of happy with the progression we've made in like our community? Do you think we have more work to do?
You know, there are a lot more role models out there now, but I'm often in a setting where I'm the only person who looks like me. But I think you can't focus on those things and let those things hold you back, but because instead you think about, you know, why you're there and what you're there to do and why it's important. And then ultimately that you're not defined by how you look, you're defined by how good a lawyer you are and what you have to contribute. And once people can see that about you, then they will look beyond the things that might originally cause them to see you as being different.
Was there ever like a kind of moment, that's it, I made it?
Every day I wake up and I think to myself about how lucky I am to basically just be doing work that I love, that's meaningful, that lets me serve the public, and to kind of constantly feel stretched and challenged and be learning, because I haven't yet reached the point where I think, now I've learned and done,
now you're done.
You know, everything that I want to do. It's a constant process. I mean, the more I do, the more I realize, oh wait, I haven't done this thing. I don't know this thing, and I want to try this thing.
Would you look back and ever kind of tell yourself something to kind of prepare yourself for this field?
I'm still a work in progress with respect to these things, right? I mean, so, we're talking about speaking up and putting yourself out there, right? Not just waiting for opportunities and mentors to come your way. That was something that I had to learn through trial and error. I think it's really important, but it's a constant process of pushing myself to do that and recognizing your strengths. This is something that we touched on, but a lot of us just have this lifetime of experience navigating new settings, and there hasn't been anyone to guide us, and we've had to work harder because we're learning as we go along. And sometimes we feel like these are things that don't make us as qualified as somebody else, or cause us to second guess whether we belong in a particular setting. But taking a step back and thinking these are important skills, they're important strengths. They show an ability to persevere, to be a good listener, to be flexible and open-minded, right? So taking the things that might cause you to hesitate about yourself and trying to think, how are those strengths? How do those show good things about me? And then also, I think not getting discouraged. So important. So many people take themselves out of the game before they even start, or encounter a small setback and just feel like they can't go past that. And I just think every professional person has had the experience that things don't always break your way, even if you've done your best, right? So if there's something that you know that you did, that you think if you did it differently, things might have worked out better, that's an opportunity to learn from that mistake. But sometimes you do everything, it feels like you did everything right. Things still don't work out, but that's not a reason to give up. It's just a reason to realize that it didn't work out on that particular occasion. And if it's something you really want or really want to do, you've got to keep pursuing it. And I guess, related to that is that everybody feels down sometimes, when you have a setback, and that learning to use the people who care about you and believe in you to give you a boost.
Part of kind of what discussions we're having recently just about Women's History Month and all the important topics, like what would you like to see kind of change in the South Asian community, maybe for South Asian female attorneys?
Above all, that I'd like to see is people feeling like they are going to put themselves out there and they're just going to try for something, and they're going to take that risk, and they are going to decide that there's a goal they have and go for it, and not second guess and not hold themselves back.